the residents of Element City.
Elemental,
Air
Pixar's newest
usually has
endeavor
their
in
head in the clouds.
animation, telling the story of
My
Zootopia
jacket.
inside out,
Earth
with the
can be a
elements
little
all rolled
seedy.
into one, a classic tale of love
Underwear
and
going on
romance
here.
between water
Just a
and
little
fire.
drowning.
But is this really a
Water
tale
is
of
always getting into something.
opposites can attract, or is it the same old tale of love and glory gone awry? And let me tell you, I saw the original, the trailer for this, or the original reviews for this, I should say, and I'll admit, when I saw the first initial reviews for this movie, I was legitimately surprised. I thought it looked fine. It didn't look like it was blowing the socks off anyone, but these movies don't always need it. Sometimes it can just be nice movies. So when I saw the initial reviews were like in the 50s, like low 50s, I'm like, wait, what happened here? But then the reviews started to kick in more and more. The other opinions came into fray, and it got more up to like the 70s, which is still kind of low for a Pixar film, but a lot better than what the initial reviews were. So with all that pandering and blubbering I just did, is this a good film, or is this not a good film? And look, I mean, the long and short of it is, I like this film. This is a charming little film. There was a smile on my face. You know, you can definitely feel the energy in terms of just the sparks, if you will, of chemistry going on there with the characters. It is a rom-com with a little bit of peril in there, but that's to be kind of seen in these kind of films. All these films have to have some sort of peril to entertain the kids beyond like the standard tropes of a standard rom-com. And I mean, what's the story? Well, Ember is the daughter of an immigrant family of fire elementals, and one day her shop gets damaged by a flood, which brings Wade into the picture. They bond, and eventually romance is formed. But will it last? Will this be Romeo and Juliet, or will they be together forever? And what caused the leak? That's the big peril, is this giant leak that's apparently been going on through the town as of late. And yeah, I had someone in my comment section for not this week but last week, the last box office report I did, basically say how people are tired of being preached about racism and about sexism, about immigration, about that. And my answer to that is that I'm sure there are some people, but you can't make general statements. Well, I don't think you can make general statements like that, because they're like, because people aren't tired of it, because as long as they're good, as we saw with this week's box office, it had a fantastic drop despite its low opening. It doesn't matter what the subject matter is, superhero, romance, immigration, it doesn't matter what the subject matter is. But beyond that, I think it's just less. They're all human stories. If people, don't get me wrong, we do go to the movies for escapism, but I think we also do try to see a little bit of ourselves in the movies as well. And there are plenty of movies based on real events or real stories that work. I mean, Coming to America's got a lot of racism in it. People love that movie. I'm just using that as just an example. So I really disagree with the ideas like, people are tired. It's like, no, people just want a better movie. And what I think happened with Elemental, and I said this last week and the previous week, but I'll say it again quickly, as I think Chapek and Disney happened to Elemental. Specifically, they happened to Pixar. And it hurt Pixar's brand. So it's going to take a little bit for Pixar to kind of get back on their feet. But no, this is a great movie, honestly. I wouldn't go so far as to say one of Pixar's best, but it's very, very lovely. I reject the idea of no originality in it. I know that was what some people were saying. It's gorgeous to look at, very lovely to look at, and especially when you see how the elementals look, particularly the fire elementals are portrayed very flowingly. Fire has always been a difficult thing for many years to do in animation, or do like CG, just because fire is so unpredictable. Um, but unpredictable of an object to do effectively. But no, they look fantastic. Each element is given a very unique design. I mean, yes, clouds, original water, but there's unique things they do with the elementals themselves. It's the characters are all very likable. Even the father, who is not even an antagonist, he's about the closest thing you can get to an antagonist without really being an antagonist, and he's really not. But he is just a father who is trying to keep his heritage, trying to keep his family, his life, and just trying to have everything while still trying to be a good father. Then you have Ember, who's trying to make her dad proud while trying to be a good daughter, but then you have the story of what she wants. And yes, are these overdone tropes? Sure, but eventually every trope ever, period, is going to be done if it hasn't already. So it's not a matter of, have I seen this trope before? It's a matter of, are they doing this trope effectively? And I think they're doing it effectively in this film. Wade's a very fun, lovable, protagonist, as is Ember. They're both really entertaining, and and yeah, there's just not much to really say in terms of the overall plot, because there's not much I can say without going in through beat by beat. You have them meet cute. They don't quite like each other at first. Then they start to get to know each other. Then the romance happens, but we can't because we're too different. And then, somehow a way is found, but then something happens. You have all of the tropes you can think of. The breakup. I'm not giving anything away by saying it is a textbook romantic comedy in that sense. The misunderstanding, then they get reconciled, and then there's a heroine, because it's a Pixar film with a bit of peril in it. The perilous thing, and it all is there. There's nothing new. No new ground is being covered. But the way they're handling it is very nice. Some of the visuals are so beautiful to look at. So beautiful to look at. I really appreciate the design work, because again, I mentioned it kind of is in the vein of a Zootopia. In fact, it's closer to Zootopia than Inside Out, where it's a city where all these different individuals live. But it's closer to Inside Out because it's more metaphysical in terms of what they're dealing with. They're dealing with literal physical elements. Now, if I were to raise some, not even complaints, just some questions, I will admit there is, watching the film on multiple occasions, there is one thing that did not irk me, but really made me question things. I'm like, wait, hold on. Things aren't playing out like they should based on some things. Because elements interact with their world in different ways, and with different elements in different ways. And obviously, up until we get to our main couple here, water and fire can't mix, earth and fire clearly can't mix, because earth and fire just burns away the flowers. Water kind of helps earth grow a little bit. Wind can blow, like both these guys, at both fire and stuff out. So there's a lot of different interactions, and we don't even see all of them. But it's less about how they interact with their world, or how they interact with each other, though there is a little bit of that, and more how they interact with the world and each other, because it's specifically for the fire people, and they do call them fire people, or fire guys. So we see at many points them interacting with their world, touching things, and it doesn't burn. Great, wonderful. But then you see them touch other things, and it immediately burns. And then you see them have to increase the burn things that don't normally burn. But when they touch like a flower off of an elemental a earth elemental, it just automatically burns. He puts a hat on her at one point, and it just automatically burns. Yes, you can just walk and touch things. So when it at least comes to the fire elementals, the rules really aren't established very well on how you. For instance, when they first immigrate, when we see it in the beginning of the movie, when her parents immigrate to the elemental city, a guy basically gives them a piece of paper stamping basically their immigration documents or whatever. So I'm like, okay, why didn't that just burn up? In fact, why doesn't half the stuff they touch just burn up? When we can see the hell, they just by touching a sparkler, the sparkler is lit, and I don't that entire time, that entire movie, it keeps happening. I'm like, what are the rules for firearm? Because none of the other elements really have that kind of set rule to them. They have interactions with different elementals, but the fire specifically is kind of the outcast. They seem to be representing an Asian culture of some kind, be it a Vietnamese, a Taiwanese, maybe Korean, Chinese. It's one of them, because Firetown is kind of like a Chinatown. I believe the main actress, remember, is Leah Lewis and Ronald Day Carmen. Yeah, both are of Asian descent. So I assume that's what the fire people are supposed to represent. Wade is played by Mahmoud Afi, which, one second, I recognize this guy. What else did I see him in? Oh, come on. Oh, he was the guy in Jurassic World Dominion. Really? Dominion? Who was he? Oh, now I know. He was the guy who betrayed Dotson. What else? It was a Black Box, which I remember seeing a little bit of that. Underwater? Oh, I remember. Oh, yeah, he didn't have a long role in Underwater, but yeah, there we go. He's relatively new on the scene. He's only been, maybe not. Hold on. Okay, yeah, he's only been acting since about 2015, so he is relatively new to the acting scene, all things considered. I mean, 8 years is a while, and he's had a lot of TV appearances or shorts appearances, but yeah, no, he's the main voice for him. And like, okay, that's cool. But yeah, they're like the big and Cinder, who is Ember's mom, is voiced by Sheila Ami, and Catherine O'Hara plays the mother of Wade. So sorry, Catherine O'Hara plays the head of the inspection agent's office, like city inspections. But yeah, no, they're all fine. Like, there's no real what's the best way to put it? There's no one who doesn't do a good job. Like, it's a very nice film. I will admit, apart from the fact that it's very colorful and active and bright, I will admit, I don't know how young kids, maybe under the age of 7 or 8, are going to really like it. Because I could hear some kids in the theater. Mostly the kids were actually fine this time around. I've had some theater experiences recently with kids' films where the kids would not shut up. But here the kids were pretty fine. But every once in a while I could hear them kind of talking, and like, they weren't, I'm watching this, like, I don't know how well they're really going to be engaged. Any kid maybe older can probably get some of the more concepts of the film down. And it's not like there's many concepts that will go over anyone's head, but it's still concepts that are there that maybe a slightly older audience, like more like between 8 and 11 or up, would understand in terms of kids. Either way they look, I'm just prattling on at this point. I actually very much like this film. This one was a pretty solid little ride. I enjoyed it very much. I'm glad I saw it. If someone were interested to see it, I'd see it again. So I really enjoyed myself with it. And it's a win for Pixar quality-wise, which they have needed. Lightyear, I liked. I do follow the camp people who liked Lightyear, admitting that the third act does trail off, but overall I like it a lot. That said, I completely understand why it probably didn't do well. Pixar needed a quality win, and they got a quality win with this. So hopefully Iliad or LD, that new Pixar one was the kid who's thought to be the leader of Earth. Hopefully that does well. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you folks for the next one.